All right. Good afternoon, everyone. It's the Commissioner's Board Briefings, July 8th, 2026. Thank you, folks that are in the room. And we will start. We have a few topics today. First topic will be Don Algeyer from the library giving us a library video surveillance policy updates. Good afternoon.
Hey, good afternoon. How are you?
Doing great.
Excellent. Well, maybe just go back in time a little bit. In spring of 2025, we started looking at options for cameras for the branch locations of our libraries. We have had cameras at the Tillamook Main Library for a pretty long time now, and we have a server room where all of the video recordings happen. But coming into this library system, one of the things I had a concern about was our smaller library locations. We often only have one person working at them, and we don't have any way to identify if an incident happens there, who was there, beyond personal descriptions, which can be a mixed bag in terms of what you get from folks. So we have we acquired cameras. We worked with the IS department to acquire cameras that would be focused on the doors of each of the library locations, so that as people came in, we would be able to have images of them. If an incident were to happen, we could go and look and get an image, be able to share that with law enforcement if necessary, and for our own tracking of issues that have gone on. Those cameras got installed in September of 2025. As we installed those, we were having conversations with staff. It became clear that the policy that was guiding cameras was a fairly and much older board policy. And didn't cover some of the library-specific provisions in the ORS. And so we wanted to make sure that our library policy was updated and really in line with that, making sure that that was clear for future folks who were administrating the library. And so we started developing a policy. At the same time, we started getting a lot of community feedback and concerns around the idea of facial recognition software, which is a capability that comes with the camera system we have. It's a thing that we can turn on or off. And as the cameras are currently off, we don't intend to turn them on. But in talking with community members, what became clear was they really wanted to see some sort of safeguard in the policies around making sure that facial recognition software is not being used. So we've added that to the policy at the very end of the policy to just make it so if we ever decided, some future board, future library director says, we want to turn on facial recognition software, there has to be a conversation in the public around that. Beyond that, the policy really governs what the cameras are used for. Generally speaking, it is to identify issues around policy violations, behavior rule violations in the library, illegal activity, and being able to capture those images. Another improvement that I think originally came from conversations with you, Commissioner Fournier, was the idea of really incorporating the freedom of information requests for public requests of video, which we've already had one of those. So thanks to Brian on that, and so that's another change that's happened in the policy. The other element of the policy is just making sure who is able to access the video. Generally, that's going to be me and a couple of designated staff. That's typically our IS person, Will, at the library, and then the two managers, the branch manager and the main library manager. And we are the ones who triage basically all of the video. So you'll see one of us occasionally in the video room trying to figure out what happened in the library park the evening before. And then we interact with law enforcement, on a semi-regular basis around issues that are going on around the property. The new cameras would, again, be placed at every one of the library locations. That we are working on really trying to limit the view so that it is just the doors of the locations. And so Will is working on that for us for when they eventually go live. And yeah, beyond that, I'm glad to answer any questions, have any discussion around around the cameras and the policy.
Sure, Commissioner Bell.
I'm the liaison for the library, of course, and so I'm steeped in this issue and I'm fully supportive of the decisions that have been made and I really appreciate Dawn's leadership in terms of being responsive, hearing people that they were afraid about facial recognition technology and you know whether or not I read a lot of those comments, and so it didn't seem to me like they were all grounded in reality. But regardless, people had strong feelings about it, and I appreciated your responsiveness to people's feelings, to their fears and concerns, and I think that this was a good way to approach it in terms of, you know, it's one function that's available. I think we all have devices now that have multiple functions, and we don't use them all, and so. We just don't have to use it. And I like that you've baked it into the policy that there will have to be, it'll have to come to the commissioners and have a public process for a future library director or a future board or some future group of people who wants to turn that technology on. It will have to be a public process. So I think that's a great safeguard.
Thank you.
Yeah, and I appreciate you addressing the community concerns as well. There's a lot of, and it's kind of apropos that Dan will be up here later talking about the parking thing, which kind of the new technology people are really concerned, and I think it's valid, some of it. I do have a question though, maybe for Brian though. We have a county policy, which is an older one because we've talked about it for other departments. How does this interact with county policy? Are we going to be having different video policies for different departments, or is it because the library has specific ORSs that it has to deal with?
Yeah, yes, Mr. Chair. So no conflict between the two, right? You just have one that's specialized for the libraries, and because of its probably more unique setting, that you have one that is specific to the library, and so the both are applicable. Just one is more, is just directly related to the library, so there's no conflict. And again, right, to what you just said, right, is because of some statutes, right, regarding the library, right, and so you have one tailored specifically to the library system.
Okay, and to me, video surveillance is one of those topics, right, where it's a necessary thing nowadays. It's especially for a library. We have, and I value the concerns of employees, and some of our union employees have, raised concern about these. And I think, I remember when we obviously I worked in a secure facility, so we had cameras at the jail all the time. But there was always concerns about, you're gonna be watching me eat my lunch, you're gonna be doing these things. So these are all valid concerns. I'm glad that I also am glad that you've addressed this by, really focusing the cameras, but for the public safety of it, so important. I mean, there are individuals in this community that by law are not allowed near a library. Yeah. And there are folks that do hang out there for use of Wi-Fi and whatever, or get out of the rain, and I appreciate that. But also there are some, there can be some drug deals going on in those areas and stuff like that. And the only way to really combat that is with the video. So I do appreciate the careful an approach and covering all the bases. So.
Thank you. Yeah, for us, it's really important to be open and accessible to everyone we can be as a library. It's our obligation to the community. And with that comes the knowledge that anyone walking in your door could have any series of motivations for what's going on in their day. And we want to balance that openness with protection of our staff, with protection of the people walking in, protection of the children using the library. And so we hope that this strikes that balance.
Great.
And I think it's possible that not everyone understands how libraries have that some troubled people will come spend time in libraries, not just here, but everywhere. Mm-hmm. And, because it is open, it's public, it's welcoming, it's warm, it's dry, it's quiet, it's safe. folks will come to libraries and a small percentage of those people will be disruptive and unsafe to staff or other people. And so it's just important to be able to identify and share with law enforcement, this person came, here's their picture, here are the library policies they violated. This is why, you know, what needs to happen. So it's unfortunate, but logical and safe.
And I appreciate the FOIA process with it. So we at least, there's a process for getting footage and who gets access to that. So, yeah, great.
Okay.
Thank you for the summary. I don't have anything.
Thank you.
All right,
Thanks
yeah.
for talking to us about the policy.
Yeah.
Brian, do you have anything you want to add? You good? Yeah. Okay, perfect. Thanks, Don.
Thank you.
All right, appreciate that. Dan Kais, come on down. Good afternoon, sir. The second topic today is a parking compliance program online demo with Dan Kais, our Parks Director.
Commissioners, thank you very much. Appreciate your time as always. Parking compliance is an issue here. We know that spot checks say that show us that we get about a 20% compliance at the Coanda lot, and we've got about a 50% compliance at our other lots around the county. We can do better. One of the things too is that the idea that we're talking about is similar to what the state parks is currently using. In fact, this program T2 was actually, I didn't go look for it. It was sent to me by I believe Commissioner Bell a while ago, in fact months and months ago. So what's happened is I think that really recently with the interaction with state parks, we're realizing from parks that, you know, this could be something that really works for us. But what we need to know, because it would be a total shift in direction about how we do things, that it's important that you weigh in on this and you see for yourself perhaps the value. And then if you feel that this is the direction that we want to go, then we would pursue, you know, the end means to make that happen if that's what you want to do. And so what happens is we've got a gal by the name of Poppy on here, and I'm sorry, I cannot pronounce Poppy's last name exactly. I'm sure she'll tell you, but she's a representative from T2, and she's going to take you through a pretty short demo to give you an idea about what that system looks like and what it can do. And then I believe that there'd be a short period for questions and answers. So let the show begin.
Thanks, Dan. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here. If you can just confirm that you can see that.
Yep, you can.
Perfect. So as Dan mentioned, my name is Poppy Galoyan. I'm a regional sales manager for T2 Systems. T2 Systems has been around for over 30 years, supplying parking management solutions across North America. And I'm going to start by, I want to start by talking about mobile pay. I'm going to show you two videos that show you how you can interact with mobile pay, which is our mobile payment platform. And then I'm going to talk a little bit about the how you would issue a ticket, how you would appeal or pay for the ticket. I'll jump into hearings briefly, and then I will go through permit purchasing and approvals. It's a lot to squish into a short period of time. So now our research has indicated that the number one reason why somebody does not pay with mobile payment is because they don't want to download another app to their phone. So our solution was built as a progressive web application, which means that you don't have to download an app in order to use it. A customer can either text a code to a number, or they can scan a QR code, which is the next video, and that will immediately take them into, text them back a URL that they can click on, and then they have the experience of using an app. You can see that you can take a photo of the back of the vehicle, because our research also indicates that the number one issue with mobile payments is people typing in their license plate number incorrectly. So now you can just capture a picture of the back of the vehicle, making it easier. This is fully white labeled, so it can be branded for the county. And it allows people to pay with Google Pay, Apple Pay, It allows you to add a convenience fee if you would like to charge people a convenience fee for using the application. And it has customizable reminder texts that you can send to the customer to say, oh, your parking is about to end here at the parks. So that you can customize that for you. You also have the ability to validate. And this is showing how you could scan a QR code in order to validate and suddenly make that parking session complimentary. And then in the next video, it will show you the other way that you can start a parking session, which is with a QR code. And this picture here, of course, it would be something that you could take a picture of each different area that the parking was in and attach it there. You can give your vehicle a nickname if you'd like. And this shows you how you can scan the other one showed you how you could scan. This one just shows you how you could type it in normally if you didn't want to use the camera function. So it's very quick. It's tokenized, so it remembers the parker. It remembers their credit card and it remembers their license plate details. So it's very easy for a customer to interact with. Now, once the customer has paid for their parking, our system is completely all communicating in real time. So from the minute somebody pays for parking, the enforcement officer will be able to see with their handheld whether or not that vehicle has paid for parking or not. And I'll move on to that in just a second. So it asks them for their email address just so they can send them a receipt if in case they need that for expenses. And the second way of validating here is just with a 4-digit PIN number. Once again, voila, the parking has been made free. Now, so if we move on to the enforcement solution, so that was our mobile payment solution. Now for enforcement, you have your choice of two. You can either have one handheld or a cell phone and a Bluetooth printer. And this is all talking in real time. An officer enters a license plate and it will instantly tell them with this color coding on here, has this vehicle paid at a meter or a mobile payment solution? Do they have a permit? Are they a known scofflaw to the county, meaning that they owe you money for other tickets that they've been issued? Or are they on any hot lists? And a hot list could be anything from VIP exemptions or an Amber Alert list, if you like. And then it also tells them whether they've been chalked today. And the optical character recognition on our ALPR functionality, which means that you use the camera on the phone to scan the plate and it automatically uploads it instead of you having to type it in. It also gathers for the enforcement officer the license plate state, the make, the model, and the color. And it will instantly pop up information for the officer to be knowledgeable about how many tickets that vehicle's had, what kind of tickets they are, have they had a warning before, in case your policy is to allow people one warning per plate. And then it also will identify, have a pop-up here if that vehicle is on any hot list. So your officer is going to be very knowledgeable while they're out in the field about the vehicle that they're interacting with. And this will walk you through how a ticket is issued. The officer will enter their badge number and password. And if it's your policy to have a signature on the citation, the officer can then enter their signature into the handheld, and that will appear on there. Then this gives the officer their opening dashboard. They hit issue. All of these tickets are reverse geocoded with GPS coordinates, time, and date stamp on all of them. And each of these fields, they can, the populated fields for the state, etc. You can either start to freeform type, and the list will reduce to only show you the entries that contain those letters, or you can double click and scroll through the whole list to select what you'd like. Once you've selected your violation, you can take up to 12 images and associate those to the citation, and the customer will be able to see all of those images on the patron-facing portal when they go to pay for the ticket or appeal it. And generally, we will print an image on the ticket because statistically speaking, people are far quicker to pay for a ticket with an image on it, and they're less likely to appeal a ticket with an image on it because they know that they've been caught. And you can put free-form typed notes on there, and you can decide, do I want these notes to print on the ticket so that the officer can, so that the parker can see them, or do I only want them to be visible in the back office? We can have ad service there, which will automatically dispatch a tow truck to go and collect the vehicle if the officer pushes it. And voila, the ticket is issued. So now that the ticket has been issued, and we can configure that ticket for you. I just wanted you to have an opportunity to see. We can have your logo here. There's a QR code at the bottom that people can scan to instantly go and pay for the ticket. And we can set the system up to automatically generate notices once the ticket reaches a certain age. If 2 weeks have gone by and the ticket remains unpaid still, we can automatically query the Oregon DMV in order to get their registered owner information and send them a notice to remind them that they have a citation and what will happen if they don't pay for the citation. Now, it's all optimized for mobile use to be used on a mobile phone. And a customer can go in, enter the citation number, and it immediately will allow them to dispute the ticket if they'd like, and it will allow them to add attachments to support their dispute. All of the charges go through our IVR phone line and our patron portal, which is basically a place where your customers can go and pay for or appeal citations or buy permits. All of that is done through Stripe, which is our gateway and payment processor. And Stripe maintains the same level of PCI compliance and SOC2 Type 2 compliance that we do. So we know that our customers and our customers' credit card data and personal information is totally secure. And all of the money would be placed in your bank by ACH nightly, and you'll receive a reconciliation report the next day. And of course, the system takes all major credit cards. Once somebody has appealed a citation, then you can go ahead and adjudicate the appeal straight in here, including, deciding whether or not you're going to uphold the ticket, or if you're going to, reduce it. You have lots of different options for how you can adjudicate. And once you adjudicate, that can trigger the system to send this customer a letter indicating the results of the appeal. Now, in terms of permits, I wanted to show you in the actual system here. So you could go through and actually purchase a permit. I'm actually can go through that. I've taken the liberty of customizing the portal with your, your logo, etc. But if a person wanted to purchase a permit, we could. This permit requires approval, so you can go through and fill out all of this information and upload your vehicle that you'd like to enter. We'll just put in, obviously, Oregon. I guess a Chevrolet Bolt, maybe. I don't really know. Make it turquoise, and we'll make it a 2-door. Add vehicle to permit. Now, at this point, if you require somebody to provide you with information in order for their permit to be approved, they could upload whatever information they wanted. Let's just put in a picture of Tillamook. And put in another picture of Tillamook, because I don't actually have those things. And then once that's done, they have to say that they've read the terms and conditions, which they can do by quickly doing that. And that's customizable by you. And hit purchase permit. Pay for the permit. And now I received this telling me that my permit request has been submitted and needs to be approved, and I will receive notification once it's been approved. So then when you would go into the patron facing portal, and look up. Needs approval and hit search. Now I can see all of the applications that have been sent in, and I can go and look at the permit application as well as the attachments that have been provided to see whether or not that is actually, if they qualify and if they meet the expectations that they're allowed to have that permit, then you can go ahead and approve that permit. Approve permit. And that is pretty much, you don't have to do it that way. It is possible for you to set up a permit that doesn't require approval. I just had, in the interest of time, I had to shorten things up. That pretty much is what I had in line to cover. What is there anything in specific you would like to see?
No, I don't want to say that. I do have some questions, but I don't know if you want me to.
Yeah.
Please.
Okay, Bobby. So, but yeah, I have a couple of questions, just more like logistics. So you said a handheld, but you also said cell phone. So can a regular cell phone be loaded with an app that can be used
Yes.
for enforcement?
Yes, but it must be an Android device, and there is certain devices that we've got approved. So I would have to know in advance before you go and invest in anything, what kind of device you were thinking of getting. It must be Android.
And then what's your licensing fee? How many Android devices could a client use?
Well, that would be up to you, but originally Dan and I had been talking about one handheld, I think. Dan, has that changed or?
No, that's the same still. Thank you.
Yeah. And so a bit of that will depend on whether or not you would feel comfortable making the purchase through Sourcewell, which is a cooperative purchasing agreement that we're part of. But generally it would be about $3,588 per year per handheld.
So I guess my next question, Dan, is what were you envisioning? How would this be used? Because like in my brain, if it's one handle, that's not what I was thinking. I thought that that officers would be able to also utilize this to do enforcement. But is the vision just having one way do it?
Yeah, at this point, we know that the sheriff's department is, they're short on boots at this time. They have not put really a lot of time, their valuable time into ticketing. So the thought is that the emphasis on this, would be with a park ranger type person that would do a majority of this type of work. I have not talked to the sheriff department about this, but at some point, I'm sure that we would want to get them involved and perhaps enable them with their own devices as well. But again, we're just in the beginning stages of all this.
Yeah, these are all good questions because that
Yeah.
big question to me is if and I like the idea of this. I do like it. What I'm
Sure.
worried about now is the sheriffs, when they do have time, when we do pay them overtime, they have been doing some enforcement. This would essentially eliminate their ability to do enforcement because they would not be able to. How would they know if the person paid or didn't pay if they didn't have a way of checking it? So then you would basically, if we did it with one, with the ranger being the only one that could, then it would be impossible for a deputy to enforce it.
Right. And we would have to work all that out. There's no doubt about it. Right.
And I'm thinking like my brain's thinking pragmatically is the same printer that's already in the police cars compatible with this unit.
Actually, that's not 100% true. First of all, they could issue a parking citation just on paper and then send them to us and we can do the data entry to upload them in the system. Secondly, we can give them a website that they can look up what are the open transactions so that they'd be able to look up a plate and say that plate
Okay.
hasn't paid.
Okay, so that's my next question is would there be a way without a piece of
There
without
would
the
be a way.
handheld? Could they check plate and then check it against whether it's been paid?
Yes, they could.
Okay.
It certainly is far more seamless and beautiful for them to be able to do it. And they wouldn't have access to the things like knowing if they're on a VIP exemption list or knowing, their history and all that sort of thing. They could easily look this website up in their DMT though.
Okay, yeah, that's fine. That's basically, I just don't want to take away what they're able to do right now. I don't want to lose functionality and enforcement
No.
opportunity.
And it also, they can issue a ticket straight from within the software if they wanted to and print it on the DMT in their car.
Okay, yeah, that's fine. As long as there's a way for them to check whether it's been paid or not, that would be very helpful.
Mhm.
The other question is for, if a park ranger if it's a park staff that is running and doing this opportunity, is there a way, police officers have certain clearances, CJIS clearances to see license plate stuff. So is there a way to block that for someone who's not, so they can still do still print the ticket without seeing the name and address? Because right now, if they do it, they just write the plate.
Right.
So they don't receive
No.
any information, they just provide information. And I want to make sure that we take that into account, and that's
Yes, sir.
possible.
That's true. You would not be able to see any of the customer's personal information at all. You would see that license plate, you don't know who the person is.
Sure.
You can see that license plate has certain history with you, but you would not know where that person lives or how to get a hold of that person.
So like the license plate would come up, the vehicle type, color might come up, but the address where it's registered would not automatically.
No, we
populate?
don't have any personally identifiable information, and does not go to the handheld. Because
Perfect.
what if somebody stole it? I
Right,
mean, I'm not saying that, I don't know that I've had that happen, but I mean, if somebody did,
right.
then whoever stole it would have access to all that information. I don't know that anybody does that. And if they do, maybe they shouldn't.
Yep. And also, so how would the hearings process, do you have any idea how that might interact with our own justice court? Because that's who would hear a hearing. If someone would request, we would have to go through our justice.
There are a lot of different ways to set up our hearing module. I have some places that don't even use our hearing module, and they have those tickets sent right away to the courts.
Okay.
It is nice to give the customer, in terms of a customer service, it is nice to give them the ability to pay for the citation online through the portal in the first, say, month. And then after that, if they haven't paid, then send it off to the courts. And what's nice about them paying in our system is then the officer can see that it's been paid. Whereas if all the tickets are sent immediately out to somewhere else to be handled, then the person inside our system, we don't know whether it got paid at the courts or not. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah, no, I do. I just, like I said, there's certain, I think it would work based on what you're telling me. I think we could make it work.
Oh, yeah.
Where someone has I mean, obviously I want them to pay immediately if they want to, just like they can now. They can just come here and pay the ticket, or they can request a hearing. So some folks, if they want to request a hearing immediately, then that's easy as well.
And sometimes we can set up multiple different hearing entities too, because some organizations prefer to have their staff be the first line of hearing, because perhaps it's a very easy, oh yeah, that was our mistake. We'll fix that right now and not waste the court's time with those ones. But then if the first level of appeals handled by Dan's crew is they uphold the citation, then the person could go ahead and appeal a secondary appeal, which could then go to the courts.
Okay, well, that's something
For
we can,
third.
I'm not sure that's something I'm okay, but where park staff would be the determining factor of whether a ticket is legitimate or not, rather than a judge. So
We can dig into it a little more.
we can definitely dig into it a little bit more.
Yeah, for
Um,
sure.
Part of that is also, so my background is a police officer, so I understand how
Okay.
angry people get getting tickets. So what I'm trying to do is protect my park staff by eliminating the need of them being judge, jury, and decider. Like they are just
I hear
saying,
you.
I have a photo of a car that's parked, they haven't paid, I'm doing this, it's someone else's decision. It's safer
Yeah.
for them not to have that appeal. If people think that they can make that decision or influence that decision, that becomes a situation for that. These aren't going to be armed law enforcement officers that are doing it initially. So This is why I
Right.
have these questions, so. And what percentage does what's it, T2? How's the price breakdown for your take? Is it-
For every citation that's paid for and every permit that is purchased. So if the permit is free, there's no fee. But if it's purchased, there is a $3.50 or 4.5% fee that's attached. So if it's
Okay.
less than about $75, then it's 3.350. And if it's over $75, then it would be subject to the 4.5% instead.
Okay. And then per citation, did you say that? I didn't hear that. I just heard the permit.
It's
What about?
It's the
per
same
citation?
fee for both. And
Okay,
whether they pay it through the the patron facing portal, or if they pay it through the IVR phone line, which we include at no extra cost.
okay. That's all I've got, I think, if you have anything else.
And are those the only fees, copy what you just told us, plus the 35.88 per year per device?
No, there is more. I could actually bring up a quote if you wanted. No, not that one. Nope. Okay, I don't have the one here. But basically it's the 3,588 per handheld per year, plus there's a data plan that we offer and a warranty that's $420 per handheld per year. Then registered owner lookups for in-state are done at cost. So whatever the state charges you, we just do a direct pass through. And we do have a real-time integration with the Oregon DMV. Then there is a notice fee, and those things are all billed monthly based on how much you actually use. But generally, setup fees are $2,770 one time. And a box of paper is $169 for 50 rolls. That's like about, I think it's 7,000, or is it 3,500 tickets? I think that's all. So all total, I believe that it comes to about 10 grand for the first year, and then about 5 grand each year thereafter.
Yes. Okay. Regarding the per device, just to back up, so if we have one device for parks employees, but we want the police officer wants to go to the website and check it, we're not charging them a user fee to be able to do that, or is that addition?
No, who does that?
I don't know, you're the first parking
Oh, I see.
that
Okay.
person that we're
I thought
talking
maybe
to.
somebody else had told you that they did that. No, we don't
No.
do that.
Okay.
But if the vehicle is out of state, you obviously can't get their registered owner information from the DMV. We can do out of state lookups at $2.50 per registered owner found. So if we don't find the registered owner, then you don't get charged.
Okay.
Okay. I think that I share some of my colleagues' questions that we'll need to talk through a little bit more with Dan. For example, I had also imagined that there would be more handheld devices. I thought Deputy Weber would have one, the ranger would have one, other park staff might have them. Somehow there's some interactivity with certified law enforcement. So I think we'll want to work through those
Sure.
scenarios a little bit more. But I think this is encouraging. It is having used the state park system, it's remarkably easy. There's a QR code posted on a sign. You click on the QR code with your phone, pay on your phone. It's remarkably easy. So it would eliminate, for those people who are not paying because it's not convenient, that it eliminates that excuse. And yeah, I appreciate your presentation, and I think there's a lot of potential here.
Yep, I concur.
I'm happy to delve in further with usually it takes me an hour and a half to do one of these presentations in detail. So if you're interested in learning more, I'm happy to help.
Yeah, I think if we'll plug away a little bit. We also one of our commissioners isn't here, and I'm sure she would want to be here for if we do another presentation or we
Absolutely. Yeah.
do a more hyper-focused one. Great.
Somebody had their hand up, but then I think it went back down. Does somebody have a question?
Was it Matt Kelly?
Maybe,
Matt?
yeah.
Yeah, I just had a quick question. Is there any other municipality or county in the state of Oregon using this system specifically?
Great question. Great question. I have Cannon Beach. I'm in talks with, hold on a second here.
Is this the one that Parks use?
I know I have Cannon Beach. Oopsie, sorry. I have several of them. Where's my list? Well, that's the old ones. So we have to go down to right here. Okay, so I have Cannon Beach, Newport, Milwaukee, Tigard, and TriMet actually uses our system in order to enforce on the public transit.
That was my question. Thank you.
Yeah, my pleasure.
Thank you, Matt. Great question. All right. Do you, Brian, anything? No? Okay. Thank you, Poppy.
I have one last
My
question, if you don't
pleasure.
mind.
Please. Dan has a question.
Hi, Poppy. I think we talked about one of the concerns that's been expressed in the past is about the ability to transfer your permit, if you will. We tried stickers in the past. That didn't go well because it was not transferable. We're back to hangers because they are. My understanding is that your system could essentially register more than one vehicle. Is that correct?
Yes, it's up to you how you want to set up the permits, but you can set it up that either a permit allows more than one license plate to be associated to the permit, as long as only one of those plates is actually seen in that permitted area at a time. So as soon as you run into the second vehicle after the first one has been identified, it will come up as a hit that you have to issue a parking citation for. Or you could set it up that only one vehicle per permit, but you could empower the parker to change what vehicle that is in the patron facing portal.
Great. Thank you very much.
Mhm.
Thank
Thank you, Poppy.
Thank you.
Yeah, my pleasure.
Thank you, Dan.
Yes, thank you very much.
Exciting.
Just a moment, Dan.
Yes.
I wanted, before we leave this topic, I wanted to bring up with Brian, when we changed the day use parking fee in 2019, the county council at the time said that we couldn't have one price for county residents and another price for everybody else. That we could be sued over that and it wouldn't work. But we have questions. We'd like you to revisit that. We would like there to be either no cost to county residents, or we'd like to know if it's possible, or a reduced cost for county residents. I've heard Paul say this, that
That was the first question when he got hired, so he's already done it. The work's already been done.
okay,
So we can,
That's true, Commissioner. He got.
he was interviewed. That was the first thing I told him.
okay. So what,
So I have an email. So I'll send that to you. The short answer, because they're not general fund, right? And it's based on it's service oriented, right? That it has to be tied, in order to do that, it has to be tied to infrastructure. Right? Because that's the difference. Like, so Oregon Parks does this, right? To in-state, out-of-state, because anybody who is out-of-state doesn't pay state taxes, right? And so they say, okay, you're paying your fair share as far as the upkeep of the parks. So long as that, that the county could say that anybody who is not, say, paying county taxes, yeah, right, and that a part of the fee is going toward infrastructure. That, right, that non-county residents are not paying. So you have to make that, you have to be able to do that because they're not general fund. So if they were general funds, it'd be easy because then you have all taxpayers in the county supporting you.
Does make it trickier.
So it makes it trickier because they're not general fund. That's,
But there is ways to do it.
so there is a way. You just,
Okay, thank you.
I know other places that do it, so
A lot of, even in Oregon, a lot of places are doing it now. It was the,
Yeah.
There's a solution somewhere in there.
Yes.
Okay,
Thank you.
great.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
thank
All
you.
right. All right. The third topic today, we got like a full agenda today for this thing.
Mhm.
Is our 2027 benefit plan changes. Mackenzie Weir, HR manager. Thank you for being patient.
Of course, thank you for having me. All right. So I'll share my screen in just a moment, but today I'm here to provide an update on the 2027 benefit changes that affect our benefits through CIS. So I'll preface this by saying it seems a little early to be talking about 2027. That is because our request for coverage through CIS is due July 24th. That gives CIS ample time to prepare for open enrollment and get everything they need from us. So open enrollment this year will be September 27th through October 27th. But that's why we're doing it so early. So that is the reason for this. So these plan changes, share my screen. Are what is coming our way. So this is for our current copay Plan G through CIS. At the top in that blue box are the 2026 rates. This is the overall rates in the top section for each individual plan that we have based on the tier that the employee is enrolled. Below that in the second blue box is the employee portion and the employer portion of those benefits. On the right-hand side, it overviews the deductible, the co-insurance out-of-pocket max, and the co-pays that employees are currently paying. In the green boxes are the 2027 rates to our current plan. We are seeing an increase of almost 22% in benefits premiums, and that is because the current pool is at 132% loss ratio, meaning we're paying more in premiums than we are collecting. Paying more than what we are collecting. So that is the reason for the cost. So CIS is making some structure changes to help flatten that out. So the deductible is increasing, as you can see there, going from $1,000 to $1,200 for individuals or from $3,000 to $3,600 for families. The co-insurance is actually decreasing from 80% to 70%. And the out-of-pocket max is increasing as well. So 3,000 for single to 4,200 for single, and then 7,000 for a family and 9,600 for a family. In addition, the copays are increasing. So again, right now the plan is a $5 copay for your first 3 visits. That will remain the same. After those 3 visits, it will increase to $30. So in the very bottom chart is the increase broken out overall by tier and what employees can expect to see their increase to be, as well as the county. So the county is obviously absorbing most of the increase because the 90-10 split will remain in effect. So employees aren't being asked to pay 20% of the premiums, that's staying at 10%. So this is what we are going to see regardless of any changes we make our current plan. I can confirm all medical plans through CIS are seeing similar changes. So not just the plan we're enrolled in, but all of the other plans. As requested by the Board of Commissioners, I have explored alternative options we could offer employees. One viable option right now is a CIS plan called Surest. Which can be offered alongside this plan. So employees aren't forced to take the new plan, it remains an option. So below here, I've included the rates for the optional medical plan, which is Surest. So while it is not significantly cheaper out of the paycheck for the employees or even for the county, it's roughly a $20 savings. However, employees could see significant savings when it comes to deductibles, co-insurance, and paying the out-of-pocket. So Surest is a copay-based medical plan that emphasizes upfront pricing transparency. Members can review providers and services through the Surest app or website to see actual copay amounts before receiving care. Unlike traditional plans, Surest does not include deductibles or coinsurance. Instead, members pay copays vary based on provider and facility, supporting more informed healthcare decisions and often lowering out-of-pocket expenses. So that's where employees would see probably the most difference is their out-of-pocket differences. So again, the key features of this plan are no deductibles before benefits are available, no coinsurance, upfront cost transparency through the member portal and app, opportunities to reduce out-of-pocket costs by selecting high-value providers and facilities, and broader provider access through United Healthcare Network. So this is one plan that I have found. Again, this is the viable option that is currently available to us. I did explore other alternatives outside of CIS. Based on our current structure and financial advantages we receive by bundling multiple coverages through CIS, pursuing an external insurance carrier is not a viable option at this time. Conversations with insurance brokers and CIS also confirm that similar plan changes are occurring outside of the CIS pool. So for multiple reasons, there is not other viable options. The board had also mentioned in one of our previous meetings to review eligibility for PEB, which is the Public Employers Benefit Board. I have verified that the county is not eligible to join at this time. PEB operates on an all or nothing basis, and due to multiple bargaining units and other eligibility criteria, that is not a viable option for us. All employees would need to move at once. Again, not going to happen with our two other Teamster units as well. So again, I've attached the rates and changes for 2027 along with the Surest plan. So right now, the Surest plan would be offered to non-union, non-represented employees only. We offered the Surest plan to the AFSCME bargaining unit. However, they declined our offer at this time. So for 2027, only non-represented employees would be eligible. These are the biggest changes for 2027. All the other coverages through our copay G plan will remain the same. And I am happy to take questions.
Thank you. Thanks for researching this. Thanks for bringing us an alternative. We've been asking you, I know, it comes up like, do we not have any more choices? So thank you for bringing us an additional choice. So I understand. I think it's unfortunate that I know that you approached the union and offered this possibility and they declined. I think that's unfortunate. I wish that that broadly that our employees understood that what this option represents and that it's a cost savings to them for out-of-pocket expenses. So I think there's the opportunity as we move forward with this, and it's only non-represented people who have this option, that hurts my heart as a leader because I want everybody to have this option. But I hope that we will create an opportunity to broadly provide education and information so that before the next union bargaining, that all of our employees know that this is available. And besides that, by then we'll have experience with it. So we'll be able to have personal stories about, yes, my family saved X amount and here's how it benefited me, so that everybody can have the same information. So I just feel like that's what probably didn't happen, is for everybody to have the same information. And so you said that it would have to be all or nothing. So go back to that part, explain that a little bit more.
Yeah, so PEB is an all or nothing. So every employee benefit eligible employee from our organization would have to move over at the same time to be eligible. That's just one of their eligibility criteria. And as you know, we have two Teamsters unions whose contracts expire at a different time than the AFSCME contract. So it is impossible right there alone for everybody to move over to that. In addition, the Teamsters unit benefits work very differently, and there would probably be additional cost to those employees if we switch to PEB.
Right, because Teamsters have excellent insurance already.
Correct.
So it's really only AFSCME that would benefit from this.
Well, not from PEB.
Okay.
So PEB is the other one that we can't move to.
Oh, sorry.
Yes.
Yeah, the different. I would agree with you. I would like with, as you send this out, getting people ready for open enrollment, I'd like it to be countywide. And include all this information to help educate everybody on what we're doing. And it's not mandated, it's a choice. And if you could send, I know there's a link to do the test. I did that right before this meeting where I just checked to see, because I love my provider here in Tillamook, and I wanted to make sure that he's on it, and he is.
Okay.
So this is something I'll be looking at. I mean, I'm just looking right off the bat. Deductible per calendar year, 0. Out-of-pocket expense is currently will be 1,200 individual. Well, that's not right. 4,200 individual for out-of-pocket max, and out-of-pocket max for the Sheriff plan is 3,000. So there's a lot of things. I have to do a deep dive, and I recommend everybody do that. Hopefully all the employees will look at it, but I think I really appreciate you doing this. I know that we had talked about this. I've heard from employees, from management and union represented employees that have had medical issues where they've had to pay $9,000 out of, it gets really scary when it gets that high. So I think that I appreciate that we have another option. Health insurance is never going to go down per se, but I really do appreciate this, this option being made available to everybody. So hopefully we can get that information out. Oh, Josh has his hand up. Josh, you go ahead, Josh.
Commissioner Fournier, I think you said something about this, but is there a location we can go to see examples of the variable copay and what doctors are covered and things like that on this new plan?
Yes, you'll be sent into, Mackenzie will be sending out a countywide email that'll have a link so you can test live the Sheriff's plan. And you can do searches on that. It's just, you just search your provider. And also I think she's going to attach
Yes, plan summary.
these two things I'm holding here, which are both plans, that
Okay.
you can actually do a side-by-side comparison like I did and highlight it. So that will be sent out soon.
Yep, soon.
That
every
would be excellent.
Yes.
I'm one of those people that have suffered from the close to $10,000 in 6 months because of a year over year. And that was before these increases. So I'm very excited about the 3,000 max. That's great.
Yeah. So my goal is to send an email soon in the near future. Again, open enrollment's not till September, but we do want to get the information out there ahead of time so employees have ample time. This also gives employees ample time to research other insurance options. So some people have spouses that work elsewhere and are currently opted out of their insurance. Their open enrollments are at different times. I know that the school districts happens in August. Ours isn't until September, so I want employees to have that advance notice to make those choices. That doesn't stop them from enrolling in that insurance if they opt out of our coverage during open enrollment, but nonetheless. And again, we're committed to sharing, the same long-term goal, maintaining competitive benefits at affordable rates for employees. We'll continue to look for alternative options as new information comes out each year. This is just the only viable option we currently have available as to right now.
And I appreciate there is an option that looks like in a lot of cases for certain people will be really helpful and significant. And I just also remember that you can change it next year. Like if you you want to try it for a year, you can try it for a year, and then next open enrollment, change your plan. So it's just about choices. I'm really proud that we are able to offer a choice to our employees. So great.
Yes.
Anything else?
No,
Brian, Rachel? All right.
thank you, Mackenzie.
Thank you so much, Mackenzie. Appreciate it. All right. Well, we get a weekly update. We talked quite a bit earlier.
I don't think I have an additional update.
I don't think I do either. Staff? Travis?
Josh,
Josh, I'm sorry. Nothing? All right.
I had one thing. So we do not have all three commissioners at a board briefing until July 29th. And that agenda topic list is really stacking up. I was going to have, with your support, I was going to ask Debbie to see if there was a availability to do a 3-hour meeting that day, either going from 2 to 5 or 1 to 4, if you're amenable to that.
Mhm.
Debbie? Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, great. Okay, with that, I will adjourn this meeting. Board briefing at 2:59.